70 years. That is how long this nameplate has been making people feel something they cannot fully explain. Not excitement exactly. Not pride exactly. Something older than both of those things. Something closer to recognition, the feeling you get when you encounter something that was always supposed to exist and finally does. The Corvette has never been just a car. It has been an argument, a cultural position, a declaration that America understands performance not as an academic exercise, but as a physical, emotional, deeply personal experience. And here at Premium Automotive Reviews, where we spend our time asking what vehicles truly mean rather than simply what they do, we have been waiting for this moment. This is the 2027 Chevrolet Corvette Grand Sport. And before we go any further, there is something Chevrolet's engineering team decided about this car's suspension architecture, a decision that breaks from everything the mid-engine Corvette lineage has established, that changes how this car talks to the driver in a way nobody expected. We will get there. Stand in front of it first and let it register. The Grand Sport in this matte military green finish does not look aggressive in the way that most performance cars attempt aggression. Loud, sharp-edged, visually hyperactive. This car is aggressive the way a predator at rest is aggressive, quiet, composed, absolutely certain of its own capability. The wide front fascia is dominated by a deeply carved carbon fiber splitter that reaches forward like it is pulling the ground toward it. The headlights are precise and angular, framed by red LED accent strips that give the front end a quality that is simultaneously technical and somehow menacing. The crossed flag badge glows at center, not decorative, but declarative. Walk the length of it. The hood is sculpted with functional extraction vents that communicate real thermal management, rather than aesthetic theater. The fenders flare outward with a muscularity that is earned. Underneath those haunches, live Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires on 21-inch dark satin multi-spoke wheels with red painted brake calipers, visible through the spokes like a deliberate signature. The carbon fiber roof panel, the carbon side sills, the rear diffuser with its quad exhaust arrangement, 4 round tips positioned centrally. These are not styling decisions. They are engineering decisions that happen to look spectacular. From behind, the Grand Sport is genuinely dramatic. The wide rear deck, the sculpted tail, the aggressive diffuser channeling air from beneath the car. It communicates downforce and aerodynamic intent before a single number is mentioned. The crossed flag badge sits at center rear above Grand Sport lettering that is confident without being large. This car does not need to shout. Open the door. It swings up and forward in that characteristic Corvette manner, and you drop into the cockpit rather than sitting into it. The seat holds you with carbon fiber-backed bolsters, the suede and leather combination firm and athletic without punishing. The cabin is dark, nearly all black with red contrast stitching tracing every seam, red accent lighting tracing the dashboard arc, carbon fiber surfaces wherever your eye rests. It smells of warm leather and something faintly synthetic from the carbon. The scent of a car that takes itself seriously. The steering wheel sits close, flat-bottomed, thick-rimmed, covered in perforated leather with the crossed flag emblem at center. It falls into your hands with the confidence of something designed specifically for this purpose. The digital instrument cluster directly ahead is fully configurable. In track mode, it becomes almost entirely a tachometer, the red line glowing at the top of the display like a dare. The central touchscreen manages everything from navigation to suspension, tuning to performance data logging without ever feeling like a distraction from the business of driving. The cabin is quiet at rest. Properly, surprisingly quiet, until you decide it should not be now. The engineering decision I mentioned, Chevrolet's chassis team made a choice with the Grand Sport's adaptive suspension calibration that divided opinions internally. Rather than tuning the system around maximum mechanical grip and circuit performance, which the Z06 handles, the Grand Sport's dampers were deliberately calibrated for what the team described as road reading intelligence. The system uses forward-looking cameras and AI-based predictive algorithms to preload damper settings for road surface changes before the tire contacts them. The result is a car that feels surgically planted on imperfect road surfaces rather than simply flat on smooth ones. The controversy is this. Some engineers argued this approach softened the raw edge that Grand Sport buyers expect. Others argued it made the car faster in the real world where roads are not racetracks. Having driven it, the second camp won the argument. The powertrain is a supercharged 6.2-liter LT7 V8, internally projected to produce approximately 755 horsepower and 715 pound-feet of torque, driving the rear wheels through an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission with paddle-shifted manual override. Rear-wheel drive. No apologies, no qualifications. The decision to keep the Grand Sport rear-wheel drive only in an era where all-wheel drive performance cars are increasingly common is a philosophical statement as much as an engineering one. Chevrolet believes the Corvette's emotional identity requires that the rear axle remains solely responsible for putting power to the road. In practice, the result is a car that communicates its limits with precision and rewards the driver who bothers to listen. Press the starter. The LT7 catches immediately, not with a bang but with a purposeful bark that settles within 2 seconds into an idle that pulses with low-frequency authority. The supercharger whine is subtle at idle but present, a background tension beneath the exhaust note. Sitting still, this car sounds like it is thinking about something violent. Move through traffic in comfort mode, and the Grand Sport is genuinely civilized. The ride quality, filtered through those predictive dampers, is composed over real-world imperfections. The exhaust, in its quietest setting, produces a subdued burble that attracts attention without assaulting it. The dual-clutch unit moves smoothly at low speeds, something early DCT-equipped Corvettes occasionally struggled with. And the overall experience is one of contained, concentrated capability, switched to sport. The exhaust valves open. The dampers tighten, the throttle mapping sharpens, and the car becomes something different without warning. Flare it from 40 miles per hour, and the supercharger stops whispering. It screams. A high, ascending shriek layered beneath a deep, violent exhaust roar that builds so rapidly it compresses the air inside the cabin. The acceleration is not gradual. It is immediate and absolute, the rear tires finding grip with the precision of a car that has done this calculation 1,000 times and knows exactly what it is doing. Each paddle shift at high RPM delivers a crack, sharp, mechanical, satisfying, that you feel through the wheel rim and hear clearly through the cabin even at speed. 0 to 60 is internally estimated at 2.9 seconds. The number tells you the fact. The sound tells you the story. On a mountain road at speed, the Grand Sport reveals what that suspension philosophy actually means. The car communicates road texture through the steering wheel with a fidelity that is almost conversational. You feel the surface, the grip level, the chassis loading, without ever feeling unsettled. The brakes, massive carbon ceramic units with those red calipers, are immediate and progressive. Trail them into a corner, and the rear end loads up with a balance that is perfectly managed, but never numb. This car wants you to drive it. It is built for the driver who asks something of a machine and expects an honest answer in return. There is a limitation worth addressing honestly. The Grand Sport, despite its extraordinary performance capability, carries the visual weight of the wide-body kit and the aerodynamic addenda that make it genuinely imposing in tight urban environments. Parking it in a city garage is an exercise in spatial awareness. The rear visibility, common to mid-engine cars broadly, requires adjustment from drivers accustomed to traditional layouts. These are not failures. They are the architectural costs of this particular kind of performance. But they are real, and they are worth knowing before the key is turned. Chevrolet expects the Grand Sport to reach market at approximately $115,000 in standard configuration, with well-specified examples reaching $135,000. In the context of what is delivered, the engineering, the performance, the legacy, the driving experience, that number remains one of the most remarkable value propositions in the global performance car market. Ferrari charges 3 times this for less engagement. Porsche charges significantly more for a comparable lap time. What you are buying here is not a badge. You are buying the distilled product of 70 years of genuine American performance engineering, updated with everything modern technology can offer, priced with a confidence that comes from knowing the product is simply very, very good. The Grand Sport exists in a category it largely defines alone: the attainable American supercar. Not a track-only weapon, not a luxury grand tourer, A driver's sports car built around the radical idea that performance and accessibility are not in conflict. This car was built for the person who memorized the Corvette's generational history, not out of nostalgia, but out of genuine reverence for what each iteration accomplished. Someone who understands that a lateral G-force figure means nothing without the sensory context that produces it. Someone who believes the act of driving well, pressing a capable machine at the edge of what both driver and machine can manage, is a skill worth developing and an experience worth protecting in a world that is rapidly making it optional. Take this car to Pacific Coast Highway at 6 in the morning when the road is empty and the marine layer is still burning off. Drop 2 gears and feel the V8 fill the canyon with that layered, violent, deeply American sound. That is where this car is spiritually at home. That is the environment it was engineered for in the most honest sense. Not a circuit, not a showroom, but a real road with a real driver who cares about what they are doing. Before we close, a question worth debating in the comments, and we genuinely want your answer. Should the Corvette Grand Sport remain rear-wheel drive as a matter of principle, or would all-wheel drive make it a better car in the real world without compromising its character? There are 2 honest answers to that question, and neither is wrong. Tell us which side you are on, and subscribe if you want to be here when we take the Grand Sport to the track. The 2027 Chevrolet Corvette Grand Sport is the proof that America never needed permission to build the world's greatest driver's car. It just needed the conviction to keep trying.